Hey guys, I know most of you. Today I'm going to talk to you about something that has been kind of just sitting around my soul for several months, probably last spring, last summer. So this is like something that's just taking some conceptualization in the very early stages. So when he says business is under 5 years, I'm like under 5 years. So again, I'm Theresa Bybee, and Lighthouse is just about making human connection simple. So I would say we could probably all agree with the problem we're seeing in our communities. We see a lot of disconnection, a lot of isolation, kids having to go to school after suicides, holding a lot of grief, a lot of pain, nowhere to go. Teachers are in the same boat. Lots of pain, lots of confusion. How do we handle this? Suicidality is rising. Montana is always in the top 3 in the country per capita of suicide rates. There's still a stigma of therapy. When I sent this to Scott, it got a little messed up. So the bullet points are a little messed up. There's still a stigma of therapy, especially in Montana. And there's also oftentimes a wait for appointments. I have one daughter that waited on a wait list for a year to get into a therapist that I really wanted her to see. And frankly, that's unacceptable. So what sparked this moving in my soul? I've been part of a personal growth group for about 6 or 7 years, and we use the app Marco Polo. Have any of you heard of Marco Polo? So I was Marco Poloing on the way, just to like, hey guys, I'm nervous, and then them celebrating this idea, coming out, they celebrate with me. So I've noticed in the past times when I've really been emotionally upset, reaching out to my safe people, sending them a video, and before they even have time to look at my video or comment or give me feedback, I've noticed an emotional release in my soul. I feel better. I feel more regulated. I feel like I'm not alone in this because my safe people know about my problem. So that got me thinking, and then you couple that with watching my teenage daughters. They told me how to appropriately send Snapchat videos because they said that wasn't correct. But I don't know what the teens call it. But they said, they sit on the couch and they send little snap videos back and forth to their friends, and they are very comfortable updating each other throughout the day, constantly over the phone. So between that and my experience with Marco Polo, I started thinking, what if I met teens and adults where they're already living on their phones? What if I met them in their comfort zone? Therapy takes time. For the statistic is for a teenager that doesn't want to be in therapy, that their parents are making them come to therapy, it takes about 6 months to build rapport if the therapist is a good fit. But the therapist might not even be a good fit, so then you're hopping from therapist to therapist. It's a real problem. So would I cut that time down if I was coming to where they were comfortable on their phone? They didn't have the awkwardness of coming to an office or even having real-time face-to-face conversation. So my hypothesis is yes, it would cut that time down. So who do I serve? I'm looking to serve teens and adults. There's no appointments needed. It's support when it's needed. And we don't have to work around their busy schedules or sports schedules or my schedule. They just send a video when they need it. And it's really perfect for rural Montana. So I actually approached a local business that actually spoke here a few years ago called Flow Forms. They're a local business. They build platforms. They do intake forms. I approached them. They built me a simple platform in which people go in and they fill out a short intake. I get an email. I approve them as a client. They get an email. It says connect with Theresa. They upload a video to me. And then from that point on, we just get texts in our phone. I get a link on a text. Click on it. I watch their video. And then I upload a video. They get a link on their text. And it just goes back and forth like that. What does success look like for me? Leif talked last week about bridging a gap in the community. There are people hurting with nowhere to go. I'm just trying to bridge a gap. Rural access, getting some early traction, getting to know maybe some kids that are in trouble before they're in trouble. And then I can outsource them to in-person therapy if needed. So my original thought was trying to keep it less than one therapy appointment. So I thought unlimited access to me, as many video uploads as they need in a month for $150. But then as the weeks have gone on, I've thought, well, not everybody needs a ton of video back and forth. I know some teenage girls that definitely do, and they love it. So, but what if you need one-time support? What if you're going through a divorce and you need a week of support? So I've set up these tiers to make it more accessible. Basically, the gist is you don't have to carry it alone. Sometimes support doesn't need a couch or a clipboard. Sometimes it just needs a safe place and a safe person. And that is it. There's my contact. And you have, these have a, if you want to see what the platform looks like, this QR code will take you to the getting started, and then you can see what the simple intake, it's a very simple process. So, thank you.
Great job. Wow. Impressive. I remember there was a day where you couldn't even get you up here to present about anything.
Hey, now.
So no, really, that's good. So we're going to ask questions, and then Scott has the microphone, so wait till the microphone's in front of your face. So that you can
Microphone, hold it down here. Gets really garbled. Copy. You get it.
that way they can hear you.
You would have one.
So this is really fantastic, I think, in terms of access and also cost management. Your lower tiers are great. Do you know if insurance would cover any? Oh, darn it.
No, this is outside of the scope of licensure and insurance. It is definitely an out-of-box thought. I think at some point, licensure needs to change some of the archaic ways that we do things, but right now, no, it's definitely out of pocket.
Okay.
Good question. Of course, Ani. My therapist friend.
Thank you. All right, two questions.
Yes.
Well, two things. One is, I know my teens hate being on video, like when we're in school and stuff. So
that's a great question.
They often, like when we're doing schoolwork, they keep their video off, and like I have to pry them to like just chat or speak. So do you have that option?
I do. I assumed not everybody was going to be comfortable with video. I do have a young mom that just reached out to me on Monday who has an infant and a toddler. And I don't even know how she got my information, but she uploaded and paid for the unlimited, and she has babies on her laps. And so she's like, I don't know if I could do a video. It would be chaos. And so she types it out, and then I type back to her. So there's a video option and there's a write it out option.
Okay, and then my other thing is I would love to work with you, like as far as with all my counselors and therapists and even like the allied professionals for that referral source, because I know you're only one person.
That is on the top of my things to do list. Yes.
Yeah. So to have those people of like what issues or struggles that people are going through, so that you can easily refer and have that list of like who does telehealth, who can just continue their like meeting them where they are.
There are limitations to this. I'm not going to be sending video chats back and forth with somebody that I am concerned is going to commit suicide. So I do, because of who I am and the schooling I have, deal in a very ethical way, even though I'm not bound by licensure requirements for this, but I still will act in that way. So I do want to outsource when I feel therapeutically in my gut that that's needed.
Okay. We'll talk more.
Yeah.
Although I have many questions,
Ooh,
the main one is how far do I?
Your belly button.
My belly button. Okay. All right. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay. Is how do you plan on setting boundaries within your work day, your work week? Because as you know, when it comes to hitting those deep valleys as teenagers and adults do. It's not during the 8 to 5.
No.
So just curious, how do you plan on setting up that parameter?
I will have, some ethical, healthy boundaries around myself as well. It's not a 24/7. I'm not available 24/7. So it says on the Getting Started page, there's a big highlighted portion that this isn't suicide prevention. If you're feeling suicidal, this is not what you do, because I'm not going to get immediately to you. So for parents and students, I let them know that up front. This isn't, you don't call me if you're feeling suicidal, or reach out to me. Also, right now it's not a problem because I'm not busy. Well, wait a second. In my life, it's insane busy. Let me take that back. With Lighthouse, I'm not overwhelmed and busy at this moment. So, but I do realize the potential for it getting out of control. And at that point, I will run it like a 9 to 5 business within business hours. I've done a lot of think tanking with my growth group of keeping myself safe and not just like, it's midnight, I know this person's hurting, I got to get back to them, because that will just take the life out of me too. Mm-hmm. So I have people in my life to keep me accountable, and I will be accountable to them. My children come first. But right now it's fun because I have headphones on and I'm usually painting in an empty place. So I can watch their videos and I can reply to them while painting. And so it's really convenient. So if they don't mind seeing me in my paint clothes, I don't mind being in my paint clothes.
I remember joking about that, and now you made it happen. So
yes.
See, it was
the
meant
painting
to be, because
therapist.
I said
It's
it,
great.
right?
Good morning.
Good morning.
So in regards to like duality, do you have the ability to do this with multiple people, possibly when you are possibly two siblings or a married couple where they might be doing these videos together or separate, so that way you're able to reflect back and provide them both that, but they can submit separately or together?
Again, this is outside of the licensure bounds of any kind. So I practice in a very ethical way still. So I would just listen to my gut on that. But there's no bounds for duality for me. I would just really listen to my gut, as well as I am in a clinical licensure path. I'll have a provincial license in the fall, but this won't still be under that. So I do have oversight that I could always ask questions to too.
So as a second part to that, where does your services end in regards to what your scope is capable of doing? So, you're not a licensor, so you're not necessarily giving advice, but you are promoting, giving them really good, conversation, feedback, even positivity. But at what point does the scope end and then licensure start for this business?
Right now, I'm not just I am a parent who have had kids with suicide attempts and suicide. And I was just dealing with suicide on Monday, having to wake up one of my kids and tell her one of her friends committed suicide the night before. And so for whatever reason, I am uniquely wired to be able to step in that fire with people, or the aftermath of that fire with people. And so I would say I'm much deeper than calling myself a coach, because I have also gotten my bachelor's in psychology. I've gotten a first master's in developmental psychology, which is the development of the brain over the lifespan. So I come with clinical knowledge, and I'm adding to that with a second master's and a PhD. So I don't know where that scope ends, but I do have a strong gut, and I do have a great team with the Yellowstone Coalition of Mental Health Providers that I will just listen to my gut. I'm very open with talking and being accountable with friends and supervisors. So
possibly like an expanded mentorship, where you're able to provide information, but not on a professional level for which they would be getting advice that they would act upon.
I don't think it's my job to give advice, even as a therapist. I think it's my job to open their window of how they see the world. It's not my job to advise. I've had people say, should I get a divorce? Should I not? That's not my job. My job is, what do you feel? And then to explore that with people. So that's all that I do. I'm not painting a picture for somebody to see, that's how I see the world, Theresa Bybee sees the world. I'm like an optometrist, switching the lenses till they see the world they want to see it.
Good analogy, thank you.
TED Talk by Theresa Bybee.
It's my daughter.
Hi. You remember me?
I do.
So I had a question from a client's standpoint. Not to brag, I've been in and out of therapy pretty much my whole life.
I'm her mother.
You're not under the license and you're not clinical. So what would you have in regards of HIPAA? Because I know as a teenage girl or even just me, I wouldn't want to just sign up for something unless I knew, okay, this information ain't going anywhere.
And that is why I approached the platform that I approached. They are not actually HIPAA compliant, but they're FERPA compliant. So FERPA would be the security level. They actually have a military grade security level. And so this stuff is secure. And I'm going to be the only one seeing it. So that is what I can say about that.
Thanks, Mom. Theresa, this sort of mimics what Danelle was saying. If you had 30, 40, 50 people sign up for this in the next week, walk through that process. Like, what would it look like at scale? Like, is there a point in which you couldn't take more, or what does that kind of look like for you, and or just the growth of the business as a whole? If it takes off and you have a bunch of kids, parents, whatever, that are like, oh my gosh, yes, we want to do this, what does it look like to grow the business?
That's a great question. And my answer is like, oh my gosh, I don't know. But like, I do have a meeting set up with the superintendent of 17 schools in the High Line of Montana. So let's say those 17 schools decide we want to have this option for our students. Holy cow, that's awesome, but wow. I'm going to have to like paint and talk on fast forward. I don't know. But no, I did think like when that, I don't know what that number is for me personally. Probably it depends on the level of support they need. And like I said, I have some teenage girls that could send me videos every day, or I had several chats on Monday with that one young mom. So I don't know what that looks like, but I do have people that I have talked to that I trust, that I could see jumping on this platform with me. And then when you go to that getting started page, here's the bio of my friend Tara Goodwin, who is a Greek specialist. Here's the bio of, my son is in his master's program. He had a suicide attempt. He could deal with young men and depression. So I do have a list of people that I trust that could jump on this platform and we could spread. It's an LLC. I have insurance like I did with Healing Haven. Oh my gosh, that's my phone. I'm so sorry. It's in my purse, Wade. It's in my purse. I'm so sorry. Well, that's interesting.
You sounded really sexy.
Thank you. It's set up like an LLC. So I haven't, like it's so new and so conceptual. I'm sure there's areas in that area that I need to shore up. But it's an LLC. I have the same insurance that I would have as a business owner. So that's all that I have for now.
I'm thinking when you're saying about like expanding the team, also like interns.
Mm-hmm.
It would be
That is such a great, yes.
Hours, recognize
Yes.
touch points with some potential
Yes.
Don't forget about the mic, guys, so that people can hear. And there's a question.
She did say interns, and that's a great idea. Like my son is in the master's program at MSUB here in town. That would be a great option. It is a little scarier for me to have it be my baby, so I really want to know and trust ethically. But that's a great idea.
Okay, so do you see this as like kind of getting, I guess, the teens or the adults that maybe aren't just ready to like go find a therapist? They're kind of like maybe like starting that path and like being able to.
I'm not the only one.
Being able to like, okay, now I'm going to start telling people, or like I'm going to start talking about my problems, and then like, is this kind of like a jump start to then so you wouldn't have all these people, you would then just push them to other
It could be.
therapists,
I
or
think it's dependent on the individual. Some people, there's a stigma for therapy. Some people, like my daughter Ava, every stinking day it's volleyball something. So I don't even know how I would work in her schedule therapy. And so people that either don't have access in rural areas, people that don't have time, people that have a chip on their shoulder about therapy, or have seen a therapist that has wounded them in some way. It's just bridging a gap. I know that I will find some people with some pathology that I'm feeling in my gut that might need some, more intense therapy, and then I will send off. But really, we're all starving for human connection.
Right.
So I'm offering human connection. I'm offering safety. I'm offering for them to puke in my bucket while I just hold it.
I love you. You're the best.
I don't necessarily have a question. I just want to say that I think this is an awesome idea. And I know when I was kind of going through all of my stuff and divorce and everything, and then working, basically 2 jobs, I didn't have time to go, drive somewhere, sit for an hour, and then drive back. I just didn't have time to do that. And so I think it's awesome even for business people to have this option where you can just, sometimes when the thought comes, it's immediate, and I need to talk to somebody right now, and I need to move on. I
that's
don't have
part of the
time.
concept is a lot of times, especially meeting with teens, they will have a heightened emotional something during the week, but they're not going to see me for 2 weeks. So then when that 2-week appointment comes, they don't even remember.
Yeah,
so then I can't really equip them with some coping skills, or maybe to cognitively reframe how they're seeing a situation if it was 2 weeks ago and that emotional charge isn't there. So I'm really hoping to catch people in that emotional charge, so I can work with that emotional charge.
I think it's awesome, and there's really nothing like that out there. And then the second thing I want to say is I just love your outfit today. It's so good.
Emily put this together at Switch Society.
Okay, time for the fit check is good. Okay. What can the One Night Cups community do for you?
The old question. I think the biggest thing is I really do see me locking arms with school districts and giving some assistance to teachers and teenagers. Like I said, they have a suicide, they have a stabbing, whatever it is, they have to go to school the next day. What do they do with all that emotional charge? Where does it go? Some kids have therapy, some kids don't. Some parents can be intuitive and realize their kid needs help. Some parents don't have the capability to realize that. So in locking arms with school districts, I would need to offer this. They won't put this in their system unless I can offer this for free. So my thought, my dream, would be to lock arms with local community businesses who are just as concerned for the mental health of Billings and Yellowstone County and Montana as I am. And in locking arms with those businesses, they say, you know what, Theresa, I will sponsor 10 kids this month, or I will sponsor 2 kids for 6 months, or whatever. And so my ask to you guys would be, if you know people who are business owners, or just individuals who are deeply concerned about the mental health of our community, if you could send me their information, I am not afraid to knock on doors. So that's my question.
Great. How about a big hand for Theresa?